For rock music fans, this year marks the 50th anniversary of Pink Floyd, one of the most successful and influential bands ever. And its leader, David Gilmour, believe it or not, is nearly 70. Remarkable. But he's touring the world with a new album and remains, as we shall hear, as radical as ever. Rattle that lot, that's the new album. Now, you're writing as much as ever. At your age and stage, are the songs notably different from the songs that David Gilmour was writing in your 30s or 40s?
Well, hopefully they're better. Yeah. There's no intention for them to be anything particularly different, but no, just writing constantly.
And what is it about going on tour again that excites you? Because you're doing South America as well. You're going all over the place. I would have thought physically absolutely shattering. So why do you put yourself through it?
Funnily enough, you know, working on an album, finishing the album, doing the rehearsals, doing all the promotional stuff that you do, is harder work than doing the touring. Because once everything is settled and you just have to get on the stage and do the thing that hopefully you can do reasonably well, it's actually easier. And the touring is sort of not in term time. We're doing it in school holidays, so that I can be around during term time for my kids.
And a lot of this was written with your wife, Polly Sampson.
Indeed, it was. Yes.
She writes. I mean, she's well known as a novelist and short story writer, but she writes the lyrics, does she?
She's written most of the lyrics on this, and has in fact written most of the lyrics on my last album in 2006, and on the Pink Floyd's last album, The Endless River, and even the Division Bell one, so on 4 albums now.
Working with her for a long time. And how different is it going around the world if you've got the David Gilmour team around you now?
Yes.
It's not Pink Floyd. How different does it feel?
It's not that different. I can be more of a despot, which is always fun. The whole tour, the music that we're playing has taken its own shape as we've been going through the rehearsals, and you could be forgiven for thinking that it's fairly influenced by some of the Pink Floyd shows we've done.
Of all of those great songs, is there one that you think that is the greatest song I've written? I have an answer to this question, but I'm
intrigued to hear your answer. And I love them, lots of them, for many, many different reasons.
You can't select from your children.
Yes, and the ones that are the most popular, the ones you play the most often, are the ones you start thinking, God, have I really played this song enough?
On the other hand, I'm going to ask you about something I've never quite got, which is on the wall, that we don't need no education, we don't need no thought-controlled teacher, leave those kids alone. That seems to me, if I may say so, a rather reactionary sentiment.
Roger would say that it's all in the context. I suspect now, I'm not sure how good an idea it was to put something out like that as a single.
Yeah. Because we all do need education.
Absolutely,
we do need teachers, you know.
We do need teachers. I mean, Roger was talking about the type of teachers and the type of teaching that was fairly common in schools in this country when we were growing up.
Yes.
But no, I think I wouldn't put that out as a song right now.
Speaking of kids and all that, your adoptive son went through the courts and all the rest of these big protests that he was involved in. What effect did that have on the family?
It's terrible when your son, you know, when one of your children gets sent off to prison, and when you're so aggrieved about what you perceive as the injustice of the situation.
Because he did offend a lot of people with what he did.
He did offend some people, and he was, you know, his intention was to do good. He wanted to fight against the student fees for university, something which he was personally not going to have any benefit from. And he took part in those demonstrations for that reason. But he did sort of lose his way a little bit. And,
yes.
But I still cannot believe that what I see as fairly minor offences deserved what he was subject to.
And you've said that, I think your own parents, as well as your background, they were natural protesters, they were on marches, or their friends were on the Aldermaston marches and so forth.
Right.
So there's a lot of protest in the family and so on. And did rattle those chains and the themes of that new album bear any relationship at all to what Charlie went through?
I don't think so, you know. I mean, Charlie's situation is a very minor one in relation to all the terrible things that are going on. You know, he's just been in the papers for being at the protests at St Pancras Station last week. It's not, shouldn't be part of the story.
Yeah.
You know, he shouldn't be part of that story. It's
a
much bigger story that is much more interesting.
But I think the experience of thinking more about prison has led you to work with the Liberty Choir.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about the Liberty Choir, and then we'll hear from them.
There's a South London choir run by a woman called MJ Paranzino with Ginny Dougherty, who's used to do a lot of journalism here. And part of that choir goes into Wandsworth Prison with the blessing of the governor of the prison. And in there they get to sing along with this choir. And these are prisoners who are in the last sort of few months of their sentences. And when they come out, they are welcomed to go and join in with this South London choir once a week, I think it is. And that gives them a place to go to, a place to help them back into society a bit, where people welcome them. And they get to sing, which is a joyful, wonderful experience.
Because we don't think enough about what happens to people in prison, perhaps. I can remember a former chief inspector of prison saying to me, we have, whatever it was there, 70,000 people in prison, Andrew, and all but 6 of them are coming out again.
Yes.
So we have to think about what they're going to be doing when they're coming out again.
I think that's what needs to be looked at a lot more, yes. I mean, half of them shouldn't be in there anyway, in my humble view.
I'm a sophisticated man. I very rarely shake with awe when I have guests on, but it's been a very great privilege to have you here, David Gilmour. Thank you very much for joining us.